So the number one business metric that nobody optimizes for, but everyone should, is velocity. The reason is because friction is what slows companies down from growing. I remember in my first business, Robley, we had this incredibly manual process for getting people to switch from this competitor Constant Contact to our product. The sale would close and the salesperson would download the person's contacts and put them in, and then we would have designers make a template that resembled the template of the person's old account, and then we would have an onboarding consultation, literally one-on-one, and this was for like a $30 a month account. And then we would get this person to send, and they would be fully migrated over, fully activated. The day that this idea got put into my head for the first time is when I had been hearing about webinars. Like Lead Pages had this incredible webinar. I watched it and I was like, oh man, like I wonder if we could do a webinar for the onboarding part of this and speed up the velocity of this business. And the craziest thing happened. We offered people $25 to show up to the webinar and another $25 that they sent at the end of it, right? Everybody, as many people showed up on the webinar as showed up for their one-on-ones. The conversion rate was actually higher on the webinar, and the webinar was more effective because everybody learned from everybody else who was on the webinar. We got really good at it. We did one a day. We didn't have to staff this big onboarding staff. It was just an amazing evolution in the business that happened just because we removed friction and we removed people. Fast forward to today. Get emails was super efficient for the first 2.5 years. We got to 12 million AR with 6 people in 2 years. And in many ways, we were 6 highly productive people and everything moved super fast. In some other ways, there was a ton of friction in this business. What do I mean? Well, Diana, my co-founder who was doing everything related to sales and revenue, kind of everything she was the guardian of so much information that she slowed things down because you had to get the information from her to make a decision. That's not good. Another thing was our pricing. We were pricing per lead and it was based on the number of contacts, and the customers didn't know how many contacts they were actually going to get from us because it was based on their traffic, and they didn't know what their traffic was, and we couldn't tell them exactly what we would resolve. So we just kind of like, it was just a weird thing. To eliminate that friction, we now have 3 plans, and they make complete sense to someone that sees them for the first time. And the pricing is a lot lower. And they're annual deals now, and it's a higher annual deal amount than the monthly deals where they were confusing and people were churning off of them. And the sale is actually faster, right? So that's an amazing example of increasing velocity. It's like situating your pricing page into a matrix that is crystal clear to somebody who sees it. And you go from a monthly to a yearly plan, and actually the sale speeds up, right? So I think there's a few lessons here. I mean, one thing that I have just, and Santos really beats this into everybody, just this idea, right, that companies grow just like people grow, and the fulfilling state for somebody to be in as a person or in part of a company is to grow. And the faster you grow in general, the more fulfilling it is, so long as you're not doing it completely irresponsibly in a way that could end up making you die at some point, right? So lesson number 1, which we adopt on at retention.com, is just go faster. Like whatever your plan is, sit there and look at it and ask yourself, how could I go 3 times faster? We're about to hire a partnerships person, and he had a plan. And I was telling him, I'm like, when you show this plan to Santos, he's literally just going to ask you, no matter what the plan is, like, well, what will we have to do to just go 3 times faster? I think another important point here, lesson number 2, is velocity trumps revenue, especially in the beginning. You want to go as fast as possible, and it's almost advantageous to sell. So long as your gross margin's still good and your CAC versus LTV is still good, it's almost advantageous to sell at a lower price in the first year because you can hike prices later. And then you're going for market share and you get this incredible revenue expansion story as you raise prices because your product was underpriced for the sake of velocity in the beginning. which is also the plan that we are on right now. And lesson number 3 is just at every possible place in your business, at every possible sort of, in every department, just remove friction whenever you can. The business metric to optimize for is velocity. My name is Adam Robinson, founder, CEO of retention.com. Follow me if you want to learn more about how to start startups, entrepreneurial journey, email, direct consumer e-commerce. Signing off.